So welcome to this lecture. We will be starting with equilibrium. Okay, I'll just show you the topic. This is the part of the syllabus. In case of equilibrium, we have equilibrium of system of coplanar forces. In that we will have equilibrium for concurrent forces, parallel forces, non-concurrent, non-parallel, general forces. Okay, including couple, and then equilibrium of rigid bodies, and everywhere in equilibrium we will be using free body diagram, FBD. Then we have second part of this module, equilibrium of beam, where we will study what are the types of beams, what are the different type of support and reactions, and we will see what are the different type of loads acting on the beam and solve numericals related to that. So these are the things which we are going to cover: equilibrium, types of equilibrium, condition of equilibrium for concurrent, parallel, general force system, FBD, principles of equilibrium. They are namely 2, 3 force principle, okay, 2 force principle and 3 force principle. Then Lami's theorem and limitation of Lami's theorem. So we'll start with equilibrium. So what is equilibrium? Initially, if you recall, in module number 1 we have found resultant of forces. Okay, so number of forces are given. We replace that force by a single force, that is called resultant force. Okay, now this resultant force will produce the same effect as produced by all the given forces for a particular application. Okay, so what do you mean by equilibrium? A body is said to be in equilibrium when it is at rest or continues to be in uniform motion. Meaning, if it is in rest, it will stay in rest condition. Okay, if it is in uniform motion, it will continue its uniform motion. Okay, that is meaning of this word equilibrium. So there will be static equilibrium, there will be dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so when we are talking about rest, it will be static. When we are talking about continues to be in uniform motion, that will be dynamic equilibrium. Okay, now you have studied this Newton's first law of motion. The body remains at state of rest or of uniform motion unless it is acted upon by external unbalanced force. Okay, and when the resultant of force system acting on a body is zero, the body is said to be in equilibrium. Okay, so if a body has been given to you and number of forces are acting on a body, particular body, and if you calculate the resultant of all the forces, if that is zero, means body is in equilibrium. Okay, now we have talked about resultant. Okay, now we will see what is equilibrium. Okay, so what do you mean by equilibrium? It is a single force which brings the system to equilibrium. Thus, equilibrium is equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear to resultant force. So I'll give you an example over here. Suppose we have a concurrent force system. Okay, so here one force is there, here one force is acting, and here one force is acting, and some angles are given. Okay, now suppose from the given system we can calculate what is resultant. Okay, suppose resultant is in this direction, for example. Okay, now resultant value is not zero, so body will not be in equilibrium. So how to bring this body in equilibrium? We have to apply equilibrium. What is this equilibrium? It is a single force which brings the system to equilibrium. So equilibrium is equal in magnitude. So suppose this is resultant R. So equilibrium will be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear with resultant. So both will cancel out each other and body will be in equilibrium. So that is meaning of this equilibrium force. Now there are 3 types of equilibrium. So first type is stable equilibrium. A body is said to be in stable equilibrium if, so in all the 3 types, initially body is in static equilibrium for all the 3 types of equilibrium. So first type is stable equilibrium. It is initially in a state of static equilibrium. What is meaning of it? Body. Okay, on giving slight displacement, an additional force is set up which tends to restore the original position of the body. What is meaning of this? Here you can see a sphere has been shown and it is kept on a curved surface. Okay, so this is a curved surface. So initially this body is in static equilibrium. Okay, meaning this body is at rest. Now suppose you give a slight displacement to this body. So what will happen? This body, it will travel in this direction. You can see the dotted line. This is the new position. And when you release it, okay, after giving slight displacement, what will happen? Additional force will be set up in this body and it will tend to restore the original position, meaning it will move in this direction, again move in this direction, and then finally come in equilibrium at the center. Okay, so that is the meaning of this stable equilibrium. What is this? Basically, after giving slight displacement, an additional force is set up in the body which tends to restore the original position of the body. Okay, so even though it is displaced, again it will come back to its original position. This is meaning of stable equilibrium. Okay, next, unstable equilibrium. Okay, now in case of unstable equilibrium, just see the diagram. The curved plane, it is like this. Okay, so a body is said to be in unstable equilibrium. Okay, this is unstable equilibrium. A body is said to be in unstable equilibrium if initially body is in state of equilibrium, and when slight displacement is given to the body and additional force is set up in the body, you can see this is curved. Okay, so what will happen? Because of the slight displacement, giving a slight displacement which tends to push the body away from the original position of the body. So body will move away from the original position and it does not return back to its original position after being slightly displaced. So that is called unstable equilibrium. So it will move in this direction. Okay, downward, this direction it will move. Next we will see neutral equilibrium. Okay, now in neutral equilibrium, here example is shown. This surface is a flat surface. Okay, initial position of the body is shown. Now a body is said to be in neutral equilibrium if it means body is initially in the state of static equilibrium, and upon giving slight displacement, okay, no additional force is set up in the body, and the body will occupy the new position and it will remain in static equilibrium in this new position. This is meaning of neutral equilibrium. Next is, we will see what are the conditions of equilibrium for various force system. First force system is collinear force system. What do you mean by collinear? All the forces are acting along one axis only. Okay, so here you can see a random body has been shown and x-axis has been shown on this body, and if you see F1, F2, F3, all the forces are acting along that axis only. So what will be condition of equilibrium here? Summation of Fx is equal to 0. So we are taking right side as positive and left side as negative. So plus F1 minus F2 plus F3 is equal to 0. This is condition of equilibrium of collinear force system. Next we will see equilibrium of concurrent force system. So a body has been shown, x and y axis is shown. Then we have three forces, F1 which is making angle θ1 with respect to x axis, F2 which is making angle θ2 with respect to x axis, and F3 which is making angle θ3 with respect to negative y axis. Okay, so in concurrent force system, what will be condition of equilibrium? Summation Fx is equal to 0 and summation Fy is equal to 0. Now what will be summation of Fx equal to 0? Understand here. Okay, now this will be, you have to resolve the force. Okay, this will be x component, this will be y component. Here if you resolve F2, this will be x, this will be y. And if you resolve F3, this will be x component, this will be y component, and this is theta. Here this is theta and here this is theta. Okay, so if you want to write summation Fx equal to 0, what will be that? First one will be plus F1 cos θ1. Then second force in x direction, this is first. Second force will be what? It is towards left. So minus F2 cos theta 2, and F3 it is also in left hand side. Okay, so this will be negative minus F3, x component will be sine. Why? Because angle is with respect to vertical. So sine theta 3 equal to 0. This is summation fx. What about summation Fy equal to 0? This one is in upward direction. So plus F1 sine theta 1. This is also in upward direction. So it will be plus F2 sine theta 2. And this component is in downward direction. So it will be minus F3, and angle is with respect to y-axis. So it will be cos theta 3. Okay, so don't forget negative sign, equal to 0. So these are the conditions of equilibrium in case of concurrent force system. What we used to do in resultant, summation fx is equal to rx, na? Instead of writing rx, we are writing 0. Similarly here, summation fy equal to ry. Instead of writing ry, we are writing 0. Why? Because resultant is 0. Then only the body will be in equilibrium. That is why this right side is 0. Next we will see equilibrium, condition of equilibrium of parallel force system. Okay, so here a body has been shown, x-axis has been shown, point O is shown, and we have F1, F2 and F3. Now what is moment? It is force multiplied by perpendicular distance. Okay, so F1 force is there, this is the perpendicular distance from point O. Then F3, this is the distance, and F2, this is the distance. So basically what we will do, for parallel system we have two conditions. See, you can recall with, compare this with resultant system, resultant of parallel force system. There what we used to take, summation of F is equal to, suppose we are taking in x direction, so it was summation of Fx is equal to Rx, and summation of moment about A, like that we used to calculate. Okay, but here what we will do, that right hand side we are taking as 0. Okay, so summation of F is 0 and summation of moment is 0. So summation of F is 0 means all the forces we have to add according to the direction. So right side we are considering positive. So minus F1, here you can see minus F1, it is towards left hand side. Then F2 is also towards left hand side. So minus F2, and F3 is towards right hand side, so plus F3. Now here understand that it is not necessary that x axis should be like this only. Okay, here even though this axis is inclined, we are considering it as x axis. Okay, so it is up to us what we are defining x axis. Okay, then summation of moment about point O is equal to 0. So how you will write down the equation for this one? Keep your thumb at point O, keep your index finger on this arrow and rotate in the direction of arrow. It is anti-clockwise. So this will be positive. So plus F1 into perpendicular distance is D1. Okay, next keep your thumb over here, keep your index finger over here, rotate in the direction of arrow clockwise. So minus F2 into D2. Third force F3, keep your thumb at O, keep your index finger here and rotate in the direction of arrow. This is clockwise. So minus F3 into D3 equal to 0. So these are the conditions of equilibrium for this figure, which is parallel force system. Okay, next we will see conditions of equilibrium for general force system. Okay, in case of general force system, summation Fx is equal to 0, summation Fy equal to 0 and summation of moment equal to 0. If you consider this system, okay, again we have to resolve the forces. I am not going in detail. This F1 is given, angle is given, so you have to resolve here. This will be x component, this will be y component. Okay, and x axis is in this direction, y axis is in this direction. So basically we will take summation Fx equal to 0. Okay, resolve all the forces and you have to write down this equation. Then summation Fy equal to 0, we have to add all the y components and that will be equal to 0. Okay, then summation of moment about point O is 0. When you are taking moment, don't forget this couple. Okay, C1 couple is there, here C2 couple is there. Force moment also you have to take, and couple also you have to take. So in this way you have to write down the equation. So there will be three conditions, okay, for condition of equilibrium of general force system. It will be summation Fx equal to 0, summation Fy equal to 0, summation of moment is equal to 0. Next, we will see what is the meaning of FBD. FBD is called free body diagram. Okay. Now, what is FBD? FBD is a sketch of a body showing all active and reactive forces that acts on it after removing all support with consideration of geometrical angles and distance given. Okay. So, when we are drawing the FBD, we have to consider the geometrical angles. We have to consider whatever the distances are given. We have to remove the support. If we remove the support, we have to show reactive forces. Okay, and whatever active forces are there, that also we have to show and draw the FBD. This FBD is required for the analysis part. Okay, now there are two types of forces. Forces acting on a rigid body can be separated into two groups. One is external force and second one is internal forces. Okay, now what do you mean by external force? External forces are exerted by other bodies on the rigid body under consideration. Okay, so what is this now? We will see in the upcoming slide. So they are entirely responsible for the external behavior of the rigid body, either causing it to move or ensuring that it remains at rest. Okay, so suppose a body is there. Okay, and a person is over here and he is pushing that body. So this push force, that will be external force. Why? Because external body, this force, external force is exerted by other body, human being, on the rigid body. This is the rigid body under consideration. And this body will move because of this motion. So it can either move or it can remain at the state of rest. Okay, it will depend. Second force is internal force. What do you mean by internal force? Internal forces hold the particles forming the rigid body. So a rigid body is there, it will have number of particles. Okay, so internal forces will hold all the particles together. Okay, that is the meaning of internal force. If rigid body is structurally composed of several parts, the forces holding the component parts together are also defined as internal forces. So we have seen a system, right? ICR we have seen like this. Crankshaft connecting rod is there, then here slider is there. Okay, here there is a hinge like this. Okay, and this is rotating, suppose. So what happens? This is a complete one system, right? So if you consider a link over here, this is a rigid body. Suppose this is a connecting rod. This part is suppose connecting rod. Okay, this one. So this connecting rod, it will be a rigid body, and each particle in this rigid body, it is held together by internal forces. Okay, that is the meaning of this word internal force. Now we will see some example of FBD. Okay, so here a vehicle has been shown and three human beings, they are pulling the vehicle with the help of rope towards right. Okay, so when we have to draw the FBD, what we will show, we will remove the support. Okay, so on bottom side road is there, so that road is giving support to this vehicle. So we are removing that support and we are introducing reactive forces. Now this vehicle, it is perfectly at this location. Why? Okay, this vehicle, it is not moving in downward direction. Why? Because equal and opposite force is being exerted by the ground. That force is called which force? Reaction force. Okay, so R1 is reaction for wheel which is there on that side, and R2 is the reaction for the wheel which is there on the front side, wheel in contact with the road. Okay, weight of the vehicle, it is acting in downward direction from center of gravity. Okay, and these three people are pulling the rope towards them. Okay, so this will be the direction of force. Okay, so here it will be like this. if you consider only human being and rope part, this will be the FBD. But if you consider vehicle, this vehicle is being pulled towards right. Okay, and if you are considering FBD of this human being and rope, they are there is a resistance to them by the vehicle. So arrow will be in opposite direction basically. So if you see the rope, in between we have to draw two arrows which are in opposite nature. Okay, and when you separate these two parts, this will be FBD of human beings and the rope, and this part will be FBD of vehicle and the rope. Okay, so these are the two separate things. Now here FBD which we have drawn, it is of truck. Okay, so that is why this force is towards right. Basically, see, we have to draw arrow like this and take a section over here. Okay, so this arrow, it is acting towards right. So that is why net force, if you see, this is acting towards right. What are the forces acting over here? Weight of the truck acts at center of gravity, shown by W. Then reaction by the ground, here you can see R1 and R2 reaction at each wheels. Okay, then people pulling the rope exert the force F. Okay, so here you can see force F is there, and the reaction by the ground. So here if you see reaction by the ground and the pull force, these two forces are external forces. So we have seen here external force and internal force. So what are external forces? These are external forces. Okay, what about active forces? This will be the active force. Okay, and what is reactive force? This reaction from the ground. Okay, that is reactive force. Now we will see principles of equilibrium. Okay, so we have three principles. One is two force principle, then three force principle, and four force principle. So one by one we will see. First is two force principle. Now what is this two force principle? As per this principle, if a body in equilibrium is acted upon by two forces, then they must be equal, opposite and collinear. So here you can see, understand the example properly. Here a 90-degree rod has been shown. Okay, a lever has been shown, and we have 2 points, point A and B. Now at point A, force is acting in horizontal direction, which is perpendicular to this vertical here, and if you see F2, it is perpendicular to this one. Okay, so two forces are acting. Now what is the statement of two force principle? If the body is in equilibrium, okay, this body, we are saying that this body is in equilibrium and it is acted upon by the two forces, then these two forces should be equal in magnitude. So F1 will be equal to F2. They should be opposite in direction. So here you can see the arrows, they are opposite, and they should be collinear. Okay, now here one assumption is there that this body, it is weightless. If this body is having weight, then it will not be two force system, right? One more force will be added in the FBD. So if you see this FBD, here only two forces are considered, F1 and F2. So what is the assumption while drawing this diagram? Assuming body is weightless. Okay, now if you consider summation moment about point A. Okay, suppose you take moment about point A. What you will get, since F1 force, it is passing through point A, so point of application of force, it is passing through the moment center. So moment of F1 will be what? 0. Okay, now if you consider, this is the point about which we are taking moment. What will be moment of F2 force? It will be force multiplied by this perpendicular distance. Okay, so this is anti-clockwise, so it will be positive. So plus F2 into this distance. But now if you see in this diagram, this distance is not 0, but summation of moment about point A is 0. So definitely what will happen is, this force should also pass through line of action of this F2 force. It should also pass through moment center A. Then only what will happen, the distance will be D. Okay, this distance between, perpendicular distance between F2 and moment center, it will be 0. then only the summation of moment about point A will be 0. So that is why we have changed in second figure. If you see, this is first figure, this is second figure, and this is third figure. So in second figure, I have changed the direction of F2. On which basis? By using this equation, summation of moment about point A is 0. Okay, already F1, it is passing through point A. So moment of F1 is 0. Now, if moment of F1 is 0, then moment of F2 should also be 0. Then only summation we will get as 0. So we have changed the direction of F2 so that perpendicular distance of force from moment center, that is 0. So that then only we will get summation of moment about point A is 0. That is why I have written here, line of action of F2 must pass through A. Okay, now see the third diagram. We will use second condition of equilibrium, summation of force is equal to 0. Okay, now one force is towards right and one force is inclined. Okay, now in order to have the summation of these two forces to be 0, they should be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, right? And collinear. So that is why I have changed the direction of F1. See the new direction, it is like this. So F1, that is why here it is written, as per this principle, if a body in equilibrium is acted upon by two forces, then they must be equal, opposite and collinear. So finally you can see I have shown, even though in first diagram F1 and F2, they are not equal, opposite and collinear, but when you do the analysis, okay, it is given that body is in equilibrium, and when you do the analysis you find that F1 and F2, they are both equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear. I'll explain this again. Okay, so what here we have done is we are using condition of equilibrium. Why? Because it is given that body is in equilibrium. Okay, so summation of moment, if we are taking about point A, it should be 0. So if we are taking moment about point A and F1, line of action of F1, it is passing through point A. So moment of F1 will be what? 0. So moment of F2 should also be 0. That is why here this cannot be the distance. This distance D has some value over here. Okay, so then in that case that summation of moment will not be 0. So we have to change the direction of arrow. Okay, this will be the direction of arrow, and this line of action of F2, it will pass through moment center. Then that perpendicular distance is 0 and summation of moment about point A is 0. So this is the original diagram, then this is second diagram. So from this what we have concluded, line of action of F2 must pass through A. Then if we apply summation of forces about a particular axis, it should be 0. What should be the equation? Suppose we are considering this is x-axis, positive x-axis. Okay, so all the forces towards right will be positive. So plus F1 minus F2 is equal to 0. So you will get F1 equal to F2. So basically these two forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear. So that is why I have changed from here the direction of the force, and this is F1. They are both equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and collinear. Next, three-force principle. Okay, now here you can see a random body has been shown and three forces are there. We have 3 points A, B and C, and at these 3 points, three forces are acting, F1, F2 and F3. Now what is this three-force principle? As per this principle, if a body in equilibrium, so it is given that this body is in equilibrium, is acted upon by three forces. Okay, here you can see F1, F2 and F3. Then resultant of any two forces. So you can see second diagram. Okay, this is F1, this is F2. They will meet somewhere. Okay, suppose that is point O. So we can calculate what is resultant. So this is resultant. Okay, same thing is resultant. Then resultant of any two forces. We are taking resultant of F1 and F2 R must be equal, opposite and collinear with third force. So here you can see resultant, it is equal in magnitude to this F3 opposite in direction and collinear. This is 3-force principle. I am repeating again. It is given that body is in equilibrium. Okay, we have 3 points, and at these 3 points F1, F2, F3 is acting. Now if we take resultant of any 2 forces, for example F1 and F2, so we have to extend the line of action of F1, extend line of action of F2, wherever it intersects, there we can show resultant. Okay, now this resultant and F3, they should be, so we are basically converted 3-force system into 2-force system, and then we have to use 2-force principle. What is 2-force principle? If we have 2 forces and body is in equilibrium, then these 2 forces should be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear. So using that 2-force principle from here, we get this diagram. Okay, next we will see Lami's theorem. Okay, so in case of Lami's theorem, we have a body and 3 forces are there, F1, F2 and F3, and angle between F1 and F2 it is theta 3, F2 and F3 is theta 1, and F3 and F1 it is suppose theta 2. So we'll read the statement of Lami's theorem. What is that? If 3 concurrent coplanar forces, okay, so here you can see F1, F2, F3, they are coplanar, acting only on one plane. Okay, then same nature, here you can see F1, F2 and F3, all the 3 arrows, they are moving away from the body. So what is the nature of this F1, F2 and F3? It is pull nature. What do you mean by pull and push? Suppose this is a body. Okay, a force is directed towards the body, that is push. If a force is directed away from the body, that is pull. Now here you can see from this point, we have 3 forces, 3 concurrent coplanar forces. Okay, acting on body, having same nature. Same nature means push or pull. So all the 3 forces, F1, F2, F3, they are away from the body. So they are which nature? They are of pull nature, are in equilibrium. Then each force is proportional to sine of included angle between other 2 forces. So how we can write this? If we consider by Lami's theorem, what we have to write? F1 upon sine of angle included between other 2 forces. What are the remaining forces? F2 and F3. So sine theta 1. So F1 upon sine theta 1. Then second, suppose we are writing F2. So F2 and the remaining 2 forces are F1 and F3. What is the angle in between them? Theta 2. So F2 upon sine theta 2 is equal to, next suppose we are taking F3. Okay, so remaining forces are F1 and F2, angle is theta 3. So F3 upon sine theta 3. So they will be equal. Now what is the proof of this Lami's theorem? Okay, so basically you have to draw from vectors, we will get this. You have to draw the force polygon. So I'll explain you that. So this is F1. Okay, so I have drawn F1 over here. Then angle between F1 and F2, it is theta 3. Okay, and F1 is vertical. So from vertical, take that theta 3, you will get F2. And arrow, same arrow you have to show. So this will be F2. Now from the arrowhead of F2, we have to show F3. What is the angle between F2 and F3? It is theta 1. So this is F2 and this is F3 and the angle is theta 1. So we have drawn the force polygon. Here it will be a triangle. We have shown all the angles. Okay, angle between F1 and F3. Okay, here you can see F1 and F3. F1 is vertical. Okay, so angle between this vertical and F3, it is theta 2. Same has been shown over here. So you have to show all the angles. So what will be this inside angle? It will be 180 minus theta 1. Similarly, what will be this angle? This total is 180. So this angle will be 180 minus theta 3. And last angle, if you see, this angle total is 180. So 180 minus theta 2. Now you can apply sine rule. Okay, what is that? F1 upon sine 180 minus theta 1 equal to F2 upon sine 180 minus theta 2 equal to F3 divided by sine 180 minus theta 3. So you will get this equation. This is Lami's theorem. Okay, now what are the limitations of Lami's theorem? It is applicable to three non-parallel, that is concurrent coplanar forces only. Okay, so very important, Lami's theorem you can use only when there are three forces. Okay, applicable to three non-parallel concurrent coplanar forces only. Next thing is, nature of three forces must be same, that is pulling or pushing. So if you see this diagram, F1, F2, F3, all the three forces are acting away from the body. So what will be the nature? It will be pull nature. So all the three forces are having pull nature. Now if you see this diagram, okay, this diagram if you see, this is the point. Now F1 is acting towards the point, but F2 and F3, they are acting away from the point. So F2 and F3 are pull nature, but if you see F1, that force is acting towards the particle. Okay, so that will be push nature. In this case you cannot apply Lami's theorem. What you have to do, you have to transfer this force along line of action and make it pull nature. Okay, so along same F1, same line of action, we will transfer it over here. We will cancel this F1 and we will write this as F1. Now you can apply Lami's theorem. Why? Because F1, F2, F3, all the three forces are of pull nature. Okay, so very important, here students make mistake. If three forces are there, don't directly use Lami's theorem. You have to first see the nature of forces. If one force is having different nature, you have to change it. Okay, here you can see F1 was push nature. I converted it to pull nature. Now I can apply Lami's theorem. Next, beams and support. Okay, so in this we will study different type of supports, different type of loads, and then classification of beam. So we will see first type of support. See, now this is required while solving numerical also. Okay, because there are various type of numericals in equilibrium. Beam के ऊपर रहेगा, then rigid body के ऊपर रहेगा, there will be links or something like that. So we will be looking at all the different type of supports together, and when we are solving numericals, we will apply this logic which we are studying today when solving the numerical. So our approach will be like that. So first we will study the concept and then we will apply in the numericals. Okay, so first type of support is smooth surface contact. So here you can see a horizontal surface is there and a sphere or cylinder is there which is having a contact at point A. Okay, now this sphere or cylinder, it will have some weight. So weight will act through center of gravity. So here I have shown weight, and since this body is in equilibrium, there will be a reaction from the surface, and that reaction, suppose this point is A, so reaction will be Ra. So this we have drawn FBD. So how to draw the reaction for smooth surface contact? When a body is in contact with a smooth, what do you mean by smooth? Frictionless surface. Okay, so friction is not there. What is meaning of that? Here coefficient of friction between this roller or sphere and the horizontal surface, it is 0. Okay, so we are neglecting friction. Okay, this is ideal case. See, in actual case, obviously there will be friction. So whatever we are writing over here, frictionless or smooth surface, this is ideal surface. Okay, it will not be the actual case. So this is just a ideal case. Frictionless surface at one point only. So here you can see the body is in contact with frictionless surface at one point. Okay, the reaction is a force normal to the surface acting at point of contact. So here you can see this reaction, it is perpendicular. Okay, this reaction force in upward direction, it will be perpendicular to this one. Okay, now second example, here you can see again a sphere is there, or cylinder, it can be cylinder also. It is held in three surfaces. Okay, this is one surface, vertical, then horizontal, and this inclined one. Okay, suppose this is a sphere, so it is in contact at three points. Okay, point number 1, this bottom point, and this point number 2. Okay, so reaction will be perpendicular to that surface. Okay, here also it will be perpendicular to that surface. Here also it will be perpendicular to this surface. Okay, and I have shown weight also over here, and all the four forces, if you see now, it will act through the point, center point only. Weight, then R1, R2, and N. How this is there, it depends on the next force principle, which we have not seen yet. Okay, if you see this 4 force principle, as per this principle, if a body in equilibrium is acted upon by 4 forces. Okay, so we have a body and it is in equilibrium and it is acted upon by 4 forces. Then resultant of any 2 forces must be equal, opposite, and collinear with resultant of other 2 forces. So if you take that example which we have seen just now, okay, this example, now here body is in equilibrium, okay, and we have 4 forces. So we will take resultant of R1 and W. Suppose this is that resultant. Okay, suppose this is R. And if we take resultant of this normal reaction, okay, here we will have normal reaction, and this reaction R2. So again one more force will be there over here. Okay, that is also resultant. Suppose this is again R. So these 2 resultant, they will be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear. Okay, that is the meaning of that 4 force principle. 4 force principle. Okay, a body is in equilibrium, that condition is given, we have 4 forces, then out of 4 we are distributing it. Okay, we are taking resultant of 2 forces and resultant of remaining 2 forces. So these 2 resultant will be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear. That is this 4 force principle. Okay, so that is why if you see in this diagram, all the 4 forces, they are passing through this point only. Okay, it's not like R2 is passing through some other point. Okay, all the forces are passing through the center only. Why? Because of the 4 force principle. Next we will see, now here again an example has been shown and we have to draw FBD. Now here some important concept you will see. So we have some surfaces over here. Okay, this is one surface, then this is second, and this is third, and we have 2 spheres over here. Okay, so how many forces we have total? Reactive forces. At point 1 there will be point contact. Okay, so here there will be a reaction and it will be perpendicular to this surface. Okay, so I have shown R1. Then at this location also there will be a reaction. This will be R2, which is perpendicular to horizontal, and then this will be R3. Why? Because second sphere is in contact with this surface at this location, so this will be perpendicular. So this is R3, and weight, it will act at center of gravity. So I have shown W1 and W2. Okay, so this is FBD if we consider both the spheres together. So here if you see, FBD together has been written. Now suppose we want to take FBD of these 2 spheres, but we are separating them. Okay, so here you can see this is FBD of the spheres when both are separated. Now what will happen is, this sphere, it is being pushed by second sphere in this direction. There will be, what we can do is basically draw tangent over here and draw a perpendicular. So basically this sphere is trying to push the bottom sphere in this direction. So if we are separating both the spheres, you will get R4 like this. This is the arrow direction. Okay, and if you consider, I'll clear this. If you consider second sphere FBD, okay, in that case what will happen? This is the tangent. Here we have point of contact. So here there will be arrow like this. Okay, this will be perpendicular. What is meaning of this? This sphere is trying to push sphere number 2 in this direction. So for this second sphere, you can see R4 direction. It is in this way. So it is, here you can consider these are internal forces. Okay, and these two internal forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So when you draw separate FBD, you have to show internal forces also. But when you draw FBD together, their internal forces will disappear. Okay, next we will see a rod is there and it is supported to vertical at point A and horizontal at point B. So again, reaction, what will be the nature of reaction? It will be perpendicular to the surface. Okay, so this will be the angle 90 degree, and here also reaction will be in this direction. Okay, so this is perpendicular. Reaction is perpendicular to the surface. Okay, and weight of this rod, it will act at CG. So this was about first support. What was that? Smooth surface contact. Okay, now we will see next type of support, which is roller support.